All right, so we're back. Sorry for the delay. I've been really busy with work and everything, but I just watched the Utah and Atlanta game that happened tonight, and we just got to talk about are the Jazz legit because there's a lot of things that go into it. So let's take a look at like the box score and everything that they had tonight. Um, so the first thing, I mean, that's pretty noticeable is that like a lot of the starters were negative tonight, like other than Clarkson, but uh, kind of get into that. I mean, so the game started off and the Jazz were in like absolute attack mode, and I think that's kind of like a theme that they've been in or that they've had like for the season. Um, they really fed Lowry like right off the bat, and a lot of the plays that they ran, I mean, like even the first three plays that they ran in the game was a lot of things that I mean we do as like when I was in middle school was just like setting down picks and instead of like from the wing and instead of like just coming out for a shot, Lowry was catching it and just putting the ball on the deck and going up to the rim. He shot like all these free throws in the first like 6 minutes of the game, and they kind of went away from that after that time. Like I don't think I saw them really run that again, but um, I think that this team has some really good coaching, even though their coach is like super young dude from the Spurs. I don't even know his name for that matter, but because they do a lot of different things depending on who is setting the screen and who is handling the ball on the screens. So they'll have Lowry run a lot of pick and rolls with Kelly Olynyk, and a lot of those times Kelly just pops and gives Lowry as much space to drive as possible, which is pretty surprising to me, the level of like ball handler that Lowry is. I think most people would look at Lowry Markkinen and say like, oh, he's this big that can shoot threes and shoot them for like from the mid range, and can maybe block a shot or two. But he's actually like surprisingly like damn good ball handler and like paint like driver. Like it's pretty insane to see. Like kind of the growth that he's had on that stage. And then like Kelly pretty much is popping 90% of the time, unless Mike Conley is the ball handler. And when Mike Conley's the ball handler, he's gonna like most of the time roll, but if not, he'll pop for a split second and see where Mike Conley like probes to, and then like Kelly just dives to the rim. And they got a lot of like most of these looks he got from that are like second chance opportunities. And then Vanderbilt also is kind of he's just mostly just rolling like every single time. But Mike Conley, when he's the ball handler on these, he's pretty much always probing, looking to see, okay, can I throw a lob? Because he's pretty much the only guy on the team that throws lobs. Um, and when he was doing it, I mean, he did it mostly at the best times, except for like a couple, which that's going to happen. Not every lob is going to work out great, but I mean, he also gets that right hand floater quite a bit and makes that work out. Um, and then like their bench guys have like a weird dynamic because um, like mostly Malik Beasley and Colin Sexton and THT, it seems like they're all kind of like fighting over like which one of us is the six man, you know, and like they all kind of played similarish minutes, but they all kind of really wanted to just have the ball as often as possible. Like they were always like standing there, like come on, like give me the ball, like calling for it as much as they could. And then the other guy would just drive to the rim or something or shoot a three. I think it's fairly obvious that Malik Beasley is the best bench guy. And even then, I kind of feel like he should start and Mike or Jordan Clarkson should go to the bench because Malik Beasley was looking pretty damn good. To like up until this point, like when he was in, I believe Denver and then in Minnesota, he was always just like a 3 point shooter and like not much else. But Malik was showing me a lot of things like defensively that I would have never like even thought that he was capable of. He's playing passing lanes really well. He's getting a lot of deflections, guarding on ball pretty well. Um, and I mean, obviously shooting the ball really well. He was shooting from deep too, and like making it look pretty good. Colin Sexton didn't look great. I mean, I know he's had better games. He's just really just looking to attack the rim as often as he can. And that's kind of the same thing with THT. THT was like surprisingly good at attacking the rim. I knew he was doing that in LA, but like I think he's gotten even better at it, and I think he's kind of got this dynamic of like, oh, they got rid of me. I'm gonna try to like really show up, and it's kind of going in two different directions for him where like it's kind of looking good and then it's kind of like ooh, like that's kind of ugly because he's kind of a spaz on the court, which is like, I mean, it's good to have, and there's a dichotomy there because it looks good at moments and then looks really bad at other times. Because like one of these moments, he's driving to the rim and just lowers his shoulder into who was it? It's like Trey Young or someone, and just like absolutely yams the shit out of it, like super hard, but lowered his shoulder hard enough, got a charge call. And then there's like other moments where he's like losing the ball, like out of control, like driving up the court, but he just ends up either making it work or I mean he turns it over. But he does get a lot of like random loose balls and stuff from his just like insane motor that he's got, like trying to prove himself. It's pretty interesting. Rudy Gay didn't look great. He just was shooting a lot. He was just, if he wouldn't shoot quite as often for them, I think he'd be more solid. And like kind of the most surprising guy to me was Walker Kessler. So I didn't know anything about this guy before watching this game. Yeah, he was the 22nd pick. Like I think dude could have been picked way earlier than that. Like recently, like, he's getting a shitload of blocks, and it was pretty obvious from watching this game that like dude's gonna get a lot of blocks. His timing on when to contest was like top notch. He was inhaling rebounds, and his hands are like crazy good. His footwork is awful, but like if they were throwing up a lob or something to him, he was getting it and he was dunking it. And like he just seemed like he has like an insanely good like brain on him, where like he knows where to be, he knows where to contest. And it's just like his footwork and like lower body athleticism that's like holding him back a little bit. But I think this dude could be like starting center material. Like he wouldn't be like anything insane, but like kind of like what the Warriors have done with like just having that solid guy at the center, because the rest of the dudes are so good that like you just need a solid guy to like hold down the paint. And Walker Kessler could be that guy, I think. And so like kind of going back to like the whole team, their strengths really relied on getting to the rim and just punishing like the other team by them playing weak like perimeter defense or them fouling, and then that led to a lot of like really good like plays where they're setting like guards are setting screens for other guards and splitting off and getting open threes that way. And the times when their offense looked really bad is when guys were like isolating guys that weren't Lowry Markkanen. Because even when Jordan Clarkson was ISOing, it was looking not great. I know he's better than like this game. I mean, he had 23 points. It just like he had a lot of sloppy moments and not great shots. But I think like their bread and butter is just getting like guys moving without the ball and like curling off screens like Lowry does. And when they were doing those things, I mean, they looked pretty damn good. And I mean, they've got the guys to be able to set up the court. I mean, Mike Conley in crunch time, they're running pick and rolls with Mike Conley, letting him dictate what's happening. Looked great. I mean, he is the adult in the room. And like the other things with just getting shooters open, because they've got like he can shoot. Jordan Clarkson can shoot, of course. Conley can shoot. Malik Beasley can shoot. Colin Sexton, Rudy Gay, THT can shoot pretty well. I mean, it looked better than before. When he was in LA, his form looked a little bit different. It had like a little bit higher of a release point, more fluid of like a one motion type thing. They're okay. So like, they didn't have like that one insane rebounder. Like Clint Capella had like 20 rebounds this game. He had 19. So they got beat on the offensive rebounds quite a bit, but these three guys in particular all like box out pretty well, and so they gang rebound pretty well. And I think that's a good strength of theirs. I mean, their 3-point shooting is a strength. And I mean, another thing that I forgot to mention about, I mean, these three guys are like super critical to this team because the three of them can all handle the ball well enough that when any of them gets the ball, they're just running in transition like as fast as they can. And that's how they got like a good portion of points too, was just like it might not even say it in the stats, their transition points, but they were just pushing the ball so well that they just were getting early offense or just running a set after that. I think their biggest weakness is definitely by far their transition defense. Because, I mean, for the most part, like they've got fairly solid on ball defenders like Jared Vanderbilt, Conley. Like I was saying, Malik Beasley was looking good defensively, which are all like elite defenders. Maybe not Malik, but like those other two elite defenders. The rest of them are like average to okay, but their team defense looked really good. But the issue with their transition D, well, I mean, the worst thing is just not getting back. And they had a lot of issues with like the top guy, whether that's point guard, whoever's there, not getting back. And then the Hawks were just throwing it all the way up the court and getting a dunk or a layup early offense, which is like the worst form of like punishment you can take for your defense. But then the other thing was that their communication in transition D was just god awful. There's a lot of times where guys kind of just get set up and they're like, oh, pointing around like, oh, you got him. And like, no, like it's like fake communication. It's like they're just talking to talk when like there's moments where like DeJounte Murray and Trae Young are coming up the court and then like Kelly Olynyk's on him. And very easily Malik or one of these guys could have taken him, but like they were just being lazy. And Kelly Olynyk is a good team defender, but he's not going to guard any of these elite guards on the perimeter. And that really hurt them in the third quarter when the Hawks made a run. And it's just those cross matchups. They were just terrible in those cross matchups, which that's something that's fairly easy to fix from practice. So, I mean, wrapping all the way back around to what this whole video is about is, like, are the Jazz like as good as they appear to be? I think so. I don't think that they'll make a big run in playoffs or anything, but right now they're hot. They're shooting well. They're defending fairly well. The things that are their blatant weaknesses are pretty obvious, I think, and I think that their coaching staff will definitely see that. I mean, there's no way they don't. If some random dude can see it, then I'm sure there multiple people in that office can figure that out. So I think they've got a good formula to win games. They've got a good coach, I believe, that runs good sets for their guys to get them in the best possible spots to fit their play style and their skills. And it's just a matter of if this sort of like shooting and everything can hold up, which I think shooting is definitely an interesting thing because there's definitely this weird thing going on where like the teams that everyone thought were going to be really good shooting right now have been pretty bad. And these other teams like have been pretty good. It's just a matter, if that can keep up, which I would say that they probably will end up in like the middle half of the league percentage wise, but they've got all these guys that are just so fearless with putting them up that like they're gonna make some and go on runs from how well they play like in transition, and so like I think they're gonna get like a real playoff spot, and if they do that, they're gonna be scary to teams, but they lack like that real like number one option guy. And like Lowry was kind of that for the first half and was making it look pretty damn good. Like he was looking pretty top notch. But then in the second half, it was like all Jordan Clarkson. And like Jordan Clarkson's a good scorer and stuff, but he's going to put up nights like this where he shoots like 38% and 29% from three. And I don't think that's too reliable for a playoff series. Like they're going to have too damn good of a defender on him to make that work. And the other team's going to have elite superstars to make up for that. And so like I think they'll get there, but they're not going to do so hot like once they get into the playoffs. But it could all change like if they go on like a several game losing streak, who knows? Like one of these dudes could be just shipped off out of nowhere, based around like how many picks they've got and wanting to just tank. Um, but anyways, I hope you enjoyed. I really want to get back to grinding on these like mostly every day. It's just work schedules, man. I'm sure you all relate. Make it hard to watch as much basketball as you'd like. But yeah, thanks again. Hit the like and subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.